Studio Galaxy 473 from Confero. And we welcome all those who can get us on the internet. We're on YouTube and on Facebook, my Facebook page. Welcome. We are the Galaxy Equalizers. And this morning we have Joshua with us on the program, agriculture program. And the Hurricane Beryl have done his job on houses, and perhaps people are preoccupied with housing, and rightly so,
Yes,
because you must get a place to live.
you must have a roof.
You must have a roof over your head.
Yes,
Imagine, particularly family.
yes.
If he's a man alone, you say, hell was it? He will survive. But if he has his wife,
Different
yeah, and if he can provide for her and he can provide
for the
housing for
children.
her, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And then you have children.
hmm
So we must, this emphasis on housing is important. It's
Very.
necessary.
hmm
But Joshua, we can't forget the farmer.
No, because you're inside the house and you have nothing to eat. That don't make sense.
Yeah, we can't forget the farmer.
Mhm.
So the question is now the way forward
Mhm.
for the farmer,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
the farmers, the way forward for the farmers.
Yeah. Notwithstanding the rebuilding of houses and infrastructure and utility and all the rest, but we're going to focus on the way forward for the farmer.
I've had the opportunity to speak to some farmers, and they're traumatized. Their economic base, their income has been removed.
I can concur with you on that because I too have had the opportunity to continue speaking with farmers.
And you want to have to feel empathy, compassion. You feel sorry because there are some farmers. The only source of income
hmm
come from the land.
Yes, yes.
What is it, Joshua? Did you hear anything from the ministry or the boards? Because in terms of like that, the people you want to hear from first is the policymakers.
I haven't heard anything, but I must say that I'm not the best one in terms of news. I use my phone. I don't have a TV. I don't have a radio, although I want to invest in a radio. But I haven't heard anything. I did see a clip on YouTube where the Minister of Agriculture was talking about their states, the government estates, and getting them back into production. But of course, 2 years ago, government were very bold with agriculture. They had inherited a World Bank program whereby they had about 27 million in resources. And one of the things that they were going to do was to buy two modern tractors so farmers would have tractor service again. No, it's been 2 years of waiting. I haven't seen that. But I did see the Minister of Agriculture saying that we're going to get the land back into production. And he's very aware of the consequences of beryl and the need for us to produce food again. Now, my take on the whole agriculture and farming issue is this. When we first started with the hit that Beryl gave us, obviously, notwithstanding what it did to Carriacou, which is just a heartbreaker, it also damaged Grenada as well. Not all of Grenada got hit as hard as Carriacou, but parts of Grenada got hit as hard. So the first thing we had to do was respond in terms of saving lives and limbs and making sure people had a roof and, a shelter to go to. Then I expected us to have a program like How do we recover after we deal with the immediate crisis? What is the immediate plan? What is the medium term plan? What is the long term plan? And what I didn't want us to get bogged down in, which I feel to a degree we have, is this data collection business. I've been called by extension officers wanting to know what damage and visiting the farms, etc. And now it's about 3 weeks now that they've been doing that. And what is needed is not so much that, although that is needed. It's immediate action that's needed. How do we maintain the farmer's livelihood in terms of our response to Beryl? These people income have been wiped out. They have psychosocial stresses on them, and we're not good in terms of as Grenadian supporting vulnerable people, especially the farmers and especially men. We tend to kind of
It kicks on them.
yeah, and we
Big man as you, they crying. You lose
yeah,
about 300, not make you crying. What do you?
yeah. So you're so right, Mr. Pierre. So that has been a cultural attitude that we have. But if you face to face with a farmer who's lost all his livelihood, and you sit down on a one-to-one and you look at his body language and you look at his face and you listen to his tone when he's talking to you, it's almost like a dead man that is talking to you. And unless you have the skills to pick that up, that man will fall into a depression. He will grieve, and the likelihood is that he will depart us. And these are the things that I know we have not trained our extension officers to pick up. But these are the things that you could pick up on kind of YouTube books very quickly. The situation has changed. We have a responsibility to upgrade our knowledge very quickly. And if we can do that, not only do we become a better professional, but we actually save lives. And I don't want to be melodramatic, but this because of the farmers and the age group, we have to think about saving lives, and without making people feel like they don't have dignity or they're soft and they're this and they're that. But we have to have a compassion, as a society towards each other. And that is the thing that often I see that's lacking. It's like we've been brutalized, we've been treated like animal. And, some of us, not all of us, want to continue treating each other like that. But this is a chance for us to reflect as professionals, as Grenadians, as people who are in the struggle, and say, we can do better. All of us can do better, because by doing better, we become more productive as a nation. Our GDP improves. But when we're into that negative cycle of people don't deserve this and they're only lying and this and that and all the rest of it, we hold the country back. Not only are we damaging each other, but we hold the country back. Now, the way forward, as Mr. Pierre,
The way forward for the farmers.
yes, it has to be done quickly. It cannot be done in 2 or 3 years' time. So I know, Mr. Pierre, we talked about a method of kind of compensation or support for farmers. And I know you've been involved in terms of the industry, in terms of the front line as an extension officer for many years. So maybe you could share your thoughts, because my thoughts are more kind of reactive to what I see, but you have the depth of experience, and you also have Ivan behind you.
Ivan and Emily.
Ivan and Emily.
When the farmer loses income, there are some different category of farmers.
Mhm.
I do farming too, but my income is not especially in farming. I
Right.
have income from multiple sources.
Yeah.
So even if you lose plenty, the
Mhm.
impact may not be as devastating
Mhm.
as a farmer that lose less trees,
Mhm.
but that is sole income.
Mhm.
So I say, as a quick method,
Mhm.
only method,
Mhm.
the Nutmeg Association have the statistics
Mm-hmm.
on what quantum of nutmeg was sold for 12 months,
Yes.
the last 12 months,
Yes.
and what is the average cost.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about only farmers
Mm-hmm.
who sold nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't get anything in it butter, because I didn't bother to go and pick up.
Mm-hmm.
But the farmers who've been selling nutmeg know, as
Mm-hmm.
a first reaction, you know, we could look at the average cost for the last 12 months and give them a percentage of the average cost
Mm-hmm.
based upon the economic realities.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say, well, I give them 50%
Yes.
or 30% or 70%.
But it needs to be done quickly, Mr. Pierre,
Well,
because
well, that is what's sad.
mm-hmm.
Because if we shouldn't be on that discussion now, we should be discussing the policy
Mm-hmm.
and the action of the Ministry of Agriculture
Mm-hmm.
and the board. But if they are not saying anything,
Mm-hmm.
you watch the farmers could make decision
Mm-hmm.
that is counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
A man might say, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reaction you're hearing outside.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sell the land.
Yeah.
I'll rent the land.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get rid of the land.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be given hope.
Mm-hmm.
And the policy forward position should be coming from the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration
Yeah.
with the relevant board.
Yeah, because I have a family, a large family, and each of them have little pieces of land. Some have big pieces, and I asked the extension officer. We've been going through this kind of data collecting now for 3 weeks or so. What is it are you collecting this data to do? Are you going to give the farmers any support? Are you going to give them compensation? And the extension officer says, I don't know. Why are you collecting all this data if you don't know what's the end goal? Your job cannot be just to collect data. You have to kind of motivate and support the farmers as well, because you are still getting your income. These are people who you are partly kind of charged with representing, and they've lost their income. There has to be a deeper thinking about your role and your job. It cannot be just to go and say you lost 10 nutmeg tree or you lost 500 soursop tree. That cannot be. It has to be a more holistic, supportive regeneration. You must take the ideas from the farmers as well. Ask them, how can I help you to support? How can I help you to survive? Because something has to happen quick. It's no good us saying a year down the road, okay, we have a plan now. The farmers are hungry now. There has to be those plans. I didn't see the minister talk on Beryl, and it could be he has, and I just haven't seen him. But Minister, we need to have a roadmap how we getting out of this. The option of just giving up is not an option for Grenada. It really isn't. We can't abandon all the land. Already, in terms of the service industry, over 80% of our income is deduced from the service industry. That is not the way. We have to have a balanced economy. And foreign exchange is important to us. Food security is open to us. But what I really want to hear or see is something tangible for the farmers. It's like immediately we are going to give the farmers 50% of their income, as Mr. Pierre said. And in return, we want them to replant all their nutmeg field. And we're going to provide the labor support. We're going to provide irrigation. We're going to look at planting the nutmeg trees maybe deeper. I don't know. We're going to look at windbreaks in terms of those fields. Because to be quite honest, as a novice farmer, which I am, I see all those trees in my land and I'm saying, those damn tree just kind of useless standing there. Let me see if I could get some wood from them, or let me see if I could build a little boathouse. I had no idea of the importance of those windbreakers because I had about 80 or so peach tree in my land, and I had a piece that was surrounded by windbreak. Well, about 2 acres was surrounded by windbreak, if I'm honest. And when I went to look at the peace tree, all of them had been damaged and they're on the ground or leaning. But I could see if those windbreaker wasn't there, those trees would have been up and flying
You'll fly.
in the neighbor's land. You
And we
know.
seem to have abandoned the management of windbreak
Yes.
because around every cocoa field there used to be a fence,
Mm-hmm.
the plant fence, because the thinking in it is that 1 foot of fencing provide 10 feet inside.
Mm-hmm.
So a 10 feet road fence
Mm-hmm.
protect the cocoa field 100 feet inside.
Right.
And the farmer says, if you don't have the fences, the blossom on the stem of the cocoa would fall.
Mm-hmm.
And the cocoa is supposed to be bearing fruit on the stem, on the tree.
Yeah.
So, and then there are certain windbreaks like you use the immortel,
Mm-hmm.
the immortel. And they even use economic crops like the skin up.
Yeah.
And those trees tend to be hardy trees.
Right.
You wouldn't use poado.
Mm-hmm.
You would not use bocano.
Yeah.
Dandakayo do good.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't use bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain trees the farmer would use.
Yeah.
They would even use cashew, French cashew.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, our husbandry practices have deteriorated to a serious level.
And it comes back to our intellectuals again, Mr. Pierre. I know you are hot on that. Where are they? And I'm hot on it as well because I want to hear from them. But we need to have a model farm in terms of how it should be built. We have small acreage. So it might be you do one for a 2 acre, you do one for half an acre, you do one for 5 acre, you do one for 10 acres. But what I was thinking, in terms of what I've been seeing and, the way forward, I've been thinking we need to fence those farms. We need to fence around the farms so that we could have livestock on those farms. We need to have sheds on those farms so livestock could protect it from the sun every so often. And we need to have irrigation. And I think if we can develop that type of model, it would be beneficial and helpful to us, productive, whether it's trees, whether it's the fruits, etc. And because one of the things I was involved in an experiment was with soursop and sheep. And the sheep wouldn't eat the soursop tree, but they would keep the grass down. And I just think, well, if the damn place was fenced around, we could just leave the sheep in there, and then you have a little income from the sheep, and your soursop growing.
But not only income, the waste from the sheep
Yes,
goes back to the land.
yes, Mr.
And then
Pierre.
you don't have to pay to clear the ground, and then you could talk about it's cocoa that identifies some farms as whatever they use, natural farms with no fertilizer, etc. Because the sheep provide the manure.
Yeah,
Unless the farmer would have less labor.
yeah.
Goats a little bit more
I think goats
difficult
just
to
eat,
handle.
from what I hear. But
No,
remember, I'm not an agricultural person.
no animal eats saucer. No animal eats saucer. They don't eat the leaves. They don't eat the stem.
Ah,
So you could fence the land, and that is where one almost want to cry when after 3-4 weeks the Ministry of Agriculture, the Nutmeg Board, the Cocoa Board seems to be stuck like rainstorm. And even NAGMA, bearing in mind that agriculture have it so economic importance of agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
In NAGMA,
Mm-hmm.
there should be an arm speaking about agriculture.
Yeah.
What do we do if we have a Category 4 hurricane that destroy? How do we react?
I think that's good forward planning, and it should have been done maybe 50 years ago, but it's never too late to
Now
put
you
it
could
in
start
place.
now,
These are things that we learn from. But Mr. Pierre, normally you'd encourage the callers. I don't hear you encourage.
Yeah, the number to call is 410-3030. And you could only get us through WhatsApp. I don't even believe that the technology is encouraging online anymore. You have to get us through WhatsApp. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and we will respond to your comments and call. This morning, we want to provoke discussion.
Always.
We don't get any response from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Nutmeg Association, or the Cocoa Association, or any agricultural association.
Our
The
senator.
way forward.
We need to hear from our senator the way forward.
Even the farmers. I mean, it's sad. What has happened to our? And that's when I ask the question: what happened to our intelligentsia?
Yeah.
Every time we have some of the most coward people I met in my life have a briefcase of certificate. Something is wrong. I have always said the United States perhaps is one of the most powerful army in the world. They have the regular army, but they have special squad. They have the Marines. Your intellectuals have to be in the forefront of development.
Yeah.
Not you ordinary rustics like me.
Wherever you are, we need you.
All of them shut them out.
Yeah.
I mean, our people have to start to, and they demand, they want respect. They want people to respect them. You have a PhD in whatever master's degree or whatever degree
agronomy and this and that.
You should be calling programs now and making suggestions. The Nutmeg Association shut them out. The Cocoa Association gone into oblivion.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Agriculture, as if they lost their head, they're scatting around.
Yeah.
The way forward, farmers are hurting. And horrible doesn't make goodness.
Yeah.
So the farmers could make irrational decisions based upon the traumatic effect at that time. The psychologists would put it in differently.
Yeah.
So now they need direction. They need hope.
And Mr. Pierre, I just want to kind of revisit so that this is in people's mind. The avocado trees devastated, the soursop trees devastated, the breadfruit trees devastated. It's not just cocoa and nutmeg. And, the citrus trees devastated. I had a big golden apple tree in the center of the land. When I went to look at the damage, the tree was down. And I just said that tree was so big and fat. It's just a pity to have kind of lost it because it's the kind of tree with a present where you go underneath it. And to be honest with you, the golden apple, sometimes, somebody will ask me to buy it, I'd sell it. If they didn't ask me, I don't bother with it, But seeing the devastation of the tree crops has been really, really sad to see. That's why, I was hoping that there'd be the chief extension officer, the minister, the PS, coming out together with a plan in terms of immediately we're going to have these plans available for you. We did a survey in terms of what we have not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, especially in livestock. So we know what kind of livestock is on the ground. The Cocoa Association, Nutmeg, they tend to know in terms of the farmer, in terms of the acreage that they have of nutmeg and cocoa. But the thing like the avocado, we plant like 5 trees here, 5 trees there. We don't really have it on an organized basis as cocoa and nutmeg. And the other trees, golden apple and the French cashews and the bananas. I forgot the bananas. I mean, I was coming across Paradise Bridge um, just after Beryl, and I look to the right of me and I see the whole banana field dung. And I've since driven past there several times. And that farmer should be commended and should be given a medal because he got rid of all the trees that's fallen. And I see he has like little
He said
shoots.
he was an extension officer.
Oh, he was an
He
extension.
was an extension officer.
But it's marvelous what he did. It's marvelous what he did.
And
if
perhaps,
all of us could do that,
see,
the recovery will be quick.
banana could recover in 6-9 months.
Yeah.
So banana could recover quickly.
Yeah.
The
The
question
extension
is-
officer name, we should give him kudos because that job was just brilliant. I saw disaster one day. The next week, I saw growth. I saw hope.
Some extension officers would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in yesteryear, we had an extension officer that his cocoa plot was a model.
Mm-hmm.
And different extension officers used to bring farmers
Mm-hmm.
on his plot
Mm-hmm.
to see
Mm-hmm.
how you manage cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he prune, the
Mm-hmm.
angle you cut,
Mm-hmm.
where you put tar,
Mm-hmm.
is how you sucker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Lane James. And for a lot of years,
Mm-hmm.
that we used to call him the Cocoa Czar.
Yeah.
We used to say he's one of the guys.
Yeah.
He was not an extension officer for cocoa,
Mm-hmm.
but cocoa extension officers used to bring farmers
Mm-hmm.
onto his plot.
Mm-hmm.
The issue now, I say, in the absence of direction from the authorities that be, the government, the Ministry of Agriculture, the utility, not the utility, but the cocoa and nutmeg, commodity boards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, perhaps the farmer have to determine what percentage of his land he replanting nutmeg.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need the model farm. But listening to you, what I think that we need, and going back to your former kind of suggestions about the army in the U.S. and having different departments, I think we need a team, to rehabilitate like banana, specializing in that, going onto the farm and say, okay, you lost 10 acres of bananas. We here to revitalize, rehabilitate 10 acres for you. Specialize, so you don't have to kind of wonder where labor's coming from. You don't want to have to wonder how you're going to pay labor. You don't want to wonder how you're going to fertilize, etc. It's like a stormtrooper team. You go in there, you have a proper supervisor, you have a technique, and you do it. The country.
You think the agriculture and the boards capable of such thing?
I think if we put our mind to it, we're capable of anything. We went to the moon, Mr. Pierre. Remember that.
But not Grenadians. I am extremely worried because this action could devastate. Remember, one of the crops that took over the land was bamboo, wakanu, and baliji.
Yes.
And now that we have this damage from burial, we could have a hole in fast because this crop grow fast.
Yeah.
Bamboo, wakanu, baliji,
Yeah.
dandakayu,
Yeah.
and etc.
But we have to take a different approach to bamboo. I'm tired of listening to people say, you could do this and you could do that with bamboo. It's about time that we got a technical support. We team up with somebody who does bamboo and we start doing it in Grenada. Because that bamboo, me and bamboo not friend, that bamboo taking over my land. anywhere I go, I don't plant bamboo. I see bamboo just growing. I can't take it.
Well, bamboo, Bacano, Balijay.
Yeah.
Then you have Mexican creeper.
Oh Lord.
Somebody beekeepers would like Mexican creeper because the bees forage on.
On that.
It's a good time, perhaps, as I say again, for some farmers to consider livestock.
Mm-hmm.
A farmer like Ramdani,
Mm-hmm.
Belmont Estate,
Mm-hmm.
farmers that have over 10, 20 acres of land
Yeah.
should seriously consider livestock.
Yeah.
And government should come in
Yeah.
and assist them to
Yeah.
go in livestock.
Yeah, let's get the model farm going. So that you could have livestock, you could have like tree crops, and you could have grown crops, etc. I believe we can do it. I think the only thing that's really been impeding us has been irrigation.
Does sheep eat nutmeg?
Yeah.
I can't remember if sheep eat nutmeg.
So you save on the sheep food,
And
but
sure,
you lose nutmeg income.
no, sure, sheep don't eat sauce.
Yeah.
Goat don't eat it, and cattle don't. So you
Okay.
could fence your land if you have a sauce up field,
Mm.
and you have a couple of sheep in it,
Mhm.
and you don't have to bother about.
A couple of sheep, Mr. Pierre, talking about 50 sheep in the damn field.
Well, you see,
You could make a living from it.
one of the challenges that some farmers have, you tell them sheep, and they bring one amount of sheep, and they don't have no feed for the sheep.
And no water.
So you must look at the amount of
Yeah, that's why I
animals that you
say
have in the land.
irrigation. We can't farm without irrigation. We need the water, and we need to look more at what they call the water when it's coming down and it's without
Gravitational flow.
Hmm? Yes,
Natural gravitational.
gravitational flow. We need to use gravitational flow more than using
And
kind
there's
of.
always projects. I remember they had the EZ project or something like that for water harvesting, and they had a conditionality. You were supposed to help more than 10 persons. And I thought the commodity boards, nutmeg and cocoa, should make maximum use of it.
Yeah,
But nobody bothered.
we need to think different.
Much.
So we need to have rainwater harvesting as well as that gravitational flow in terms of the water.
And you have a lot of streams around. Grenada is not locked in.
Yeah, but
for
we're hilly,
streams
so
that you
we can have that kind of flow in terms of things. But
The way forward for the farmer, the number to call is 410-3030. You could participate. We would like to hear a voice, Colin. What is the way forward for the farmer?
mhm.
We have been begging the ministry to come up with something. Say
Yeah.
to the farmer, don't bother, don't fret. We come in. We're giving you assistance. Say something.
Mhm.
They remain zip. It
Yeah.
means that they're in a state of paralysis.
Yeah, we need a model, and straight away we need to make sure the farmer children can be fed and the farmer can be fed. So we need income support like yesterday for the farmers. We need to look at the farmers in terms of the demand of the country food and what it is that farmers can plant straight away. I know we talk about lettuce, romaine, and minito, and all those things. Those are like 5 week crops, and we know that those like the things like lettuce, if we change our diet, we can basically produce all the lettuces. This is the low season for the hotels, but soon it will come where November comes, the high season begins, and the demand will be high. So farmers don't lose hope. Now we have two major poultry operations opening soon on island, and these farms are like mega farms. So what they will be doing, they'll be looking for small contract farmers to supply 1,000 birds for them. So that's a way to make an income. And I worked on the national policy in terms of one of the original authors of it with the ministry, and there were several recommendations that was made, and now is the time, if ever there was a time, to implement. One of the recommendation was that the state institutions should only eat local poultry or only purchase local poultry. You could eat whatever meat you want in Grenada. We're a free society. But in terms of policy and encouragement, this is the time where a submission should be made to the cabinet by the permanent secretary or the power that be, instructing cabinet, this is a way forward to alleviate the pressures on our society straight away. If we can send out that directive that these institutions only buy local poultry,
Local meat. Local meat.
Local meat, sorry. You're right, correct. Local meat, wherever possible. Because one of the things that has kind of disappointed me so much, and I haven't had a chance to turn my attention to it, is our local beef and steak. We have grass-fed cows. The most sought after meat in the world. Grass-fed steak, if a regular steak is going to cost you $10, a grass-fed steak is going to cost $50 for a steak.
That is for rich people.
Yeah.
Not for me that looking for quantum.
No. But hear me out. Because what we need to do is this. The hotels are importing these steaks at premium prices. You know, we're already eating like rich people because the beef we eating is grass-fed beef and it's at a reasonable price. Now, I wanted to get some steaks for the restaurant in Pearls by the Sea. I don't remember they changed its name, you know, and we couldn't find steak because the guy said he didn't have the proper knife to cut a steak. So he used what he had, and we cut the steak for, I think it was for Mother's Day, and it went down very well. So something simple like that. We just need one skilled person at the abattoir to be cutting steak and for us to be selling it to the hotels. It doesn't have to be that we buying steak from the abattoir, eat ourselves, because for me, beef is beef. I eat a steak, I can't tell the difference between it and the cut up beef that does it. And I'm not interested in buying any steak for $100, $200. I hate to admit that my need for meat as I've gotten older has been reduced by about 70%. You know, so we could do that. You know, let the agriculture minister, Pierre, you know, say as Mr. Pierre say, local meat. But we could start with local poultry because we have the factory. And but let's be creative, let's be daring, let's take a chance on ourselves. You know, we tend to create policy.
You have to mark out a niche.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the quantum as other countries.
Yeah. And the mistake many people make is that they don't want to start with $1. They want to start with $1 million.
Well, most big companies and ideas start small.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do. So even if we could control 10% of the meats that our institution, you know, uses, we make a start. Next year we take 30%, but we must start. But we have this kind of debilitating idea and thought process. Oh, all you can produce food. All you can produce the amount of meat at the hotel.
That is not
all
true.
You can, you know, this kind of self-defeating ideas and talk. You know, poultry has the opportunity to replace banana as a money circulation in the rural economy. And now we have some money from the CBI. If we can have these economic development zones, you know, for people to invest in nutmeg, different ways of doing
We spoke
nutmeg.
about previously about St. Andrews being an economic zone. Obviously, We must come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But today, as you said, the way forward for the farmer. So the economic zone is probably more, medium term because it requires a lot of planning and organizing, to get there. But what we're dealing with is the immediate. How do we keep our farmers alive? How do we replant? That farmer who I saw in Paradise who did that, I'm going to find out his name and I'm going to get him on this program if I can. Because what he did is a model how to recover. I like
He has been an extension officer all his life.
Yeah, but I like it. But the rest of us could learn from him.
Not,
He might have a way, a methodology.
not one the ministry might be interested in anyway. Yeah.
No, but
Yes, but we must ask the question. Because the farmers have the land now and they in limbo.
yes,
You're
yes.
not hearing anything from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So this discussion, we hope farmers will discuss this issue
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and give them hope. We
Yeah.
have to plan back.
Yeah,
The question is we must plan back.
yeah. But I would like a team, as you said, the army keeps coming to mind, a specialized team who could go in onto a farm like I saw in Paradise and just revitalize it within a matter of a week.
That's what I'm saying is the capacity. Does the ministry individuals prepared to do that?
But we could do it. We could get the labor. We could have one extension officer, working on that part of the project. One extension officer. They don't have to be digging the holes. They have the labor to dig
No.
the
Just
hole, just directing and how to do it properly. It's amazing what we could achieve if we organize.
yeah, banana
properly.
is 6 to 9 months.
Mhm.
So when banana falls down, 6 to 9 months, you go there and cut back and give some fertilizer and etc. And in 6 to 9 months, you have banana again.
Yeah,
Well, when you talk about sauce up take 3 years.
yeah.
18 months to 3 years.
You have to have intercrop with these things. And like I said, I was involved in a little experiment with the sheep. And I know my cousin, who's an intellect in the medical field, she cautioned me, it is not sheep's, it's sheep.
Sheep, yeah.
Yeah, so get the sheep into the field.
Many years ago, the Ministry of Agriculture decided that one of the areas they was pushing small ruminant rather than cattle. They
Yeah.
come to the conclusion that cattle, waste much time fighting the
But
push.
often what we need is
agree,
an
yeah.
infrastructure, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
I know rabbits, and I hear
Rabbits
rabbit
again.
meat is sweet. I don't think I've ever had rabbit
Rabbit,
meat.
you never eat rabbit?
No.
Half your life gone. Rabbit is very good.
Yeah,
And rabbit have a very fast turnover. Every 28 days, rabbit almost like a reflex breeder.
Okay.
Rabbit could drop today and 2 days after you breed a rabbit again.
okay,
It's a
okay.
good breeder.
Yeah,
And you could turn over a rabbit very quickly.
yeah.
And you could, maybe when you start, feed might be artificial food, but you strive to have 70-80% grass.
Yeah, and
know,
that's
and
what
foraging
I
material.
think we need to talk
We
about.
have never take off with rabbit in the Caribbean.
Mm,
Mentality is a hell of a thing,
mhm.
And some of our universities themselves, I always say the University of the West Indies because I've never seen a good rabbit tree,
Mhm.
a rabbit project from the university.
Right, right.
When the model, they would bring in a model, it might cost you $50,000-$60,000 to establish.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch them, you say, well, you have to be crazy. This is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
No farmer with it. They wouldn't go and get bamboo and wood and make a pen.
Mm-hmm.
They want steel and they want a torch to crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge we have.
Yeah.
Our intelligentsia, who is highly certificated, is very backward. God, they're not
Yeah.
practical.
But
Yeah.
our innovators, thinkers, this bamboo we have in the land that just want to overtake the land, we have to use it to build things.
Why some people, I say again sometimes, a young man want to build a house. Why don't you use bamboo?
Mm,
Maybe in the next 10, 15 years, he have enough money to
mhm,
build a wall house.
mhm.
But he goes to the bank and he takes money to build a wall house. The bank give him 14 years to pay. Well, most likely what happened, he and his wife break up. Because every time you watch the money he paying, and you watch his wife,
Yeah.
you don't find she looking so good again.
Yeah.
You know? And he want a big, big bed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he break up.
Yeah.
So why not build a frame? If you want to build a frame in wood, and why not use bamboo on the outside?
Yeah.
It's
And
cheaper.
yeah.
You're able to manage the little finances you have,
Yeah.
and you get a nice small bed, and you and your wife might survive.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it, let me kind of share some knowledge with the nation. You know, married couples do better financially than single people.
Of course, of course,
You
of
know,
course. When you have a partner and spouse, you
yeah,
do better.
yeah,
And the man feels better too.
yeah. You
Yeah,
do financially better, you do
of
emotionally
course.
better, the
We
children are
we don't
supported.
believe that, but I'm glad to hear a manager say that.
Yeah,
When you shock up,
yeah,
even if you don't marry and you shock
yeah.
up, and you're in a committed relationship,
Relationship,
the
yeah.
man mind rests more.
Yeah, so
He does better. He's more
yeah,
productive.
yeah,
The
so
children have more security,
yeah,
and they feel good.
yeah.
It's
And when
better.
you go out to plant your cocoa tree, rather than planting 100 for the day, you might end up planting 125.
Of course, because the wife there too. So when
Yes.
she bring a little food girl, get a
Yeah.
little tap on the back. You
Yeah.
do better.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
but we have not propagated that in the society.
Yeah. Yeah. We need models. Mr. Ministry or Miss Ministry or whoever ministry.
And the mystery.
We need models now. This is the time to get the models going.
And the best thing for government to do, go and put on the model on your estates.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that
Oh.
you find the people.
Yeah.
Go on the estate and do it.
Yeah.
Bring the farmers and say, this is what you want done.
Yeah.
Those
And,
genius that you have, that
yeah.
don't have no appetite
Yeah.
to work with the poor or the poor,
Yeah.
bring them on your estate and let them work.
And if you can't get labor for this, sustainable.
Bring in Haitians and Venezuelans.
Yeah. Well, hold
Open
back.
up with door.
Yeah, hold back on the Venezuelan and Asian for the
I
moment.
want about 40,000 new people coming Grenada in next 5
Yeah.
years.
Let the Grenadians lease the lands, the government estate lands to Grenadian farmers. Lease maybe
What are they going to do with it?
lease maybe 5-acre parcels at a time, and say, Mr. Pierre, I'm leasing you 5 acres. I want you to plant sweet potato on it and another crop in terms of your rotation. We are going to source you the tractor service. We are going to give you the fertilizers, manures at reduced cost.
You're talking about satellite farms,
Yes.
similar to the poultry.
Yes. So
Whatever.
you have the estate, you have somebody who is in control of the estate and supporting, but who knows management, not who kind of go by the potato
Well,
farm and
normally-
say, give me 10 pounds of potato. every
Normally,
week."
when government wants a manager, they go to the universities and get an individual who never even grew a pig, has absolutely no experience in agriculture except you have a big certificate.
Mr. Pierre, you might be able to help me on this. And this comes back to the farmers who are doing tree crops, etc. I keep hearing pig farming is, a profitable something if you can substitute the feed, if you can grow the feed for the pigs. And one of the things we've never done is to link the hotel's waste with our pig farmers. And I've been in conversations where people have been telling me, well, if you do chicken and you have to do pigs because the chicken waste can feed the pigs. So maybe these things we can start kind of experimenting and do models. So you have a chicken farms, 500 chicken or 1,000 chicken, and you have maybe about 200 pigs. I don't know. And you have your tree crops that's taking 4 or 5 years to grow, but you have little incomes coming in soon. So we need the model, the model that says, okay, this crop will give you a money in 4 weeks, this will give you a money in 3 months, etc. I mean, this is not my background, but I come from a management background, and I could see how it can be done. You know, it's just the will and the models. Grenadians are very good at replicating things. They haven't shown such great skills in terms of innovation, but we're very good at replicating. So once we have the model and we have a bit of support, I believe we could come out of this Beryl disaster better. But we need to all put aside our differences and push together in one direction.
Government have about 3 or 4 estates.
Yeah, maybe 5.
So government could start to do something.
Yeah.
Determine what all farmers have to seriously ask themselves. What am I doing with my land?
Yeah.
You must go back in agriculture.
Yeah, but
what percentage of the land that I'll put in nutmeg?
Yeah.
Don't put all in nutmeg.
And we need to do it quick.
Maybe 20%.
Yeah.
What percentage we're going to have in cocoa? What percentage we have in vegetable or tree crop?
And our chief agronomist and our chief extension officer should be putting this model together already. You know what really excites me, Mr. Pierre? I think that guy in Paradise who did the banana so
guy is an extension officer. Was an extension officer.
He should be the czar.
Sometimes in Ministry of Agriculture don't want to see him.
Yeah, I don't care. He should be the czar, the banana czar, rehabilitating all the banana in Grenada with a team. I think he should be the banana czar.
Sometimes they don't want to see.
You know why? Because he's shown how to do it.
You may not want to see it.
No, I mean, all of us, and I talk about the psychosocial kind of factors that hold us back, but sometimes we have to let it go. That
is one of the challenges we have here. You're going to have individuals that want to get it done, want to do it, and
the blockers.
Rock the blockers.
Blockers. And the blockers are powerful because
what? Blockers go after you as if you have to have belly. You have to have belly to take on the blockers.
Yeah.
But definitely the farmers.
I'm going to find out who that farmer is. I'm going to try and get him on the program.
I'll tell you after. The farmers have to determine, what do I do with my land?
I agree with you. We have to have a model of survival.
Let me say something to young people in particular. Agriculture could make money.
Yes.
Agriculture is not dirty. Soil is not dirty. We have a view that when you go in soil, you're dirty. Soil is not dirty. Agriculture could make money. This village in our community here, we have had some rich dudes from Paraclete, Hermitage, Brudge Grove.
Yeah.
And all they did was agriculture.
Yeah.
They was not broken. Some of their children never worked with nobody, particularly the girls. Never worked. And they had transport. They go on holiday when they want. And all that money came from agriculture. I would like to tell our children in school.
And some had cars.
Agriculture could make money. Yeah. Your average salary of somebody just entering the job market. I'm not talking about maybe the supermarkets, whether it's Coates, Hoggins,
you're looking at
Miners, maybe $2,000?
No, 1,000, 1,200.
Well, the government raised minimum pay to
$1,200. But that brings it up to 1,200.
So let's say 2,000. You got $2,000 a month.
Your middle income?
Well, yeah, middle income. One time they buy a car and then they get more broken. No, you working for $2,000. If you're in agriculture and you get $60 a day and 3-4 days work,
Mm-hmm.
3-4 hours work.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to pay transportation.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you the amount of clothes you have to spend for the
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 work in town.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to spend all these clothes for agriculture. To tell people agriculture could make money.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly you who coming from secondary school with new ideas and technology.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do hydroponics and what
Yeah.
kind of ponics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you
But
could make the farm grow faster.
yeah, but Mr. Pierre, and if you have the equipment, if you mechanize the farm, it's not hard work, backbreaking. My brother have this machine that dig holes, and it's like a hole dig. He
Yeah.
can dig 1,000 holes in a day
I've
with
been
this.
digging some hole, and when I watch the individuals, I just have to shake my head.
Yeah,
The amount of holes they're digging. I
yeah.
thought about getting a machine,
No,
but
get a
then
machine, rent it out.
but the issue is I did not have the talent and skills to go and search on the internet for myself, and by the time I try, I see better the guys dig the hole.
No, no,
You
no.
know,
Get the
just
machine.
because I'm very
Get the
ignorant with
machine,
the
train two
technologies.
of them how to use it, and that is a next income for
Yeah.
you.
So that's the challenge we have. And
Hmm.
that's where the younger ones who go to school and have the
Yeah,
technology don't have the appetite
yeah,
to work with the
yeah.
parents to
All right.
expand
So
this.
I understand
We're
from
rounding up.
our producer we're rounding up. So you know, it's important that we summarize what we're trying to say. So basically, the propagation station should have an idea now of all that we're missing in terms of the tree crops to be reproducing that. The propagation station should be fully staffed. We should be looking at tissue culture in terms of getting agriculture going. The farmers should be getting some income support yesterday in terms of keeping them going. If the program isn't written yet about rehabilitation of their farms, it should be close. We must support the farmers until he's able to rehabilitate his farm. Mr. Pierre talked about diversification and making our farms hurricane proof and using the old technology as the windbreakers, etc. We need to come up with a better model for our farms. I spoke a little bit about using animals in terms of the farms and rearing that and those things. All of these things are not rocket science. They can be done. But most importantly, we need to keep the human spirit going. We need to support each other. We need to stop the negativity. We need to stop the blame. And we need to put a positive idea forward in terms of revitalizing agriculture. We need to look at the policies that we put in place that holds agriculture back. More than anything, we have everything that we need like any other nation to succeed. We have a brain. We have good fertile brains. Let's use it. There ain't nobody coming on a horse and a white cloak and a sword to save us. We have to save ourselves. And the sooner we get that mentality into our head, the quicker we will save ourselves.
We are the Galaxy Equalizer, and we are operating on Studio Galaxy 473. We encourage you to share our program with the new kids on the block. So we need that little spunk. Share our program and subscribe to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.